Today we are not looking at any new graphs, but we want to go through all of them one more time. So if you've missed a lesson like on sector graphs or divided bar graphs, you will get to hear it all again. So this is your chance to find out what you've missed out on. Could everyone please be quiet? Nobody should be talking. So this is in your theory booklet. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to ask everybody for their favorite color. So let's start over here. Jayla, favorite color?
Blue.
All right, so we're going to put blue. And I'm going to put a tally mark in there for Jayla. Blue again. Pick a color, any color, doesn't matter. Okay. Orange. Okay, tally mark there. Maddox. Oh, blue. All right, Ziggy. Come on, be original. Maybe have something in mind, people. We're going to ask everybody. Purple. All right. No, no. Shh. Addison. Pink. I'd like to make sure we get this whole table filled up. Down. Blue. Back row. Pink. Blue. Go for it. Whatever you like. Green. That's a good one. Oh, sage. I'm just going to say green. Just green. Just green is fine, but I'll understand that yours is sage. Okay, yes, and Caden? Red. Okay, good. So all our colours are filled up. So can you please pick from the colours that are there? Let's go to the front again. Ivy. Those colours there. Pink. Pink. Dustin. Purple. Toby. Favorite colour of the ones that are there? There's no yellow there, sorry. Pick another one. Blue. Back. Isabel. Did you say blue? Yep. Heidi. Green. Down in the front, Rihanna. Blue. Misha. Purple. Green. And green. Second row, Ivy. Blue. Blue. Jack. Blue. Back row, Lachlan. Green. Patrick. Blue and Alfie. Blue. Heidi. Easy meant. What color did I put you down as, Izzy? I put you down. Oh, that's okay. I'll take you off blue. That's okay. And I'll put you on a green. Excellent. Okay. Nope. Shh. All right. So this is the data that we're going to use to do all of these graphs. So before we do, quietly please, look out please, Luke. Writing this down. You should be writing this in your book. So please write down the total that we have there. So the tally for blue is 12. For orange we have 1. For purple 3. Pink is 4. Green is 6. And red is 1. This is in your theory booklet, please. You'll do different information for the next one. Okay, so let's go through and remember how to do each of these graphs. Okay, sorry, I'll give you a second. Quickly write those down. I might actually write them down on a separate piece of paper. So filling those in, please, in your theory booklet. All right, are we set?
Yeah.
Good. Ivy's ready. That's good. Okay, so the 6 green and 1 red. Please try to keep up, guys. It's going to be a very slow process if I have to keep going backwards. Okay, the column graph. To draw the column graph, you're going to draw a line along the bottom horizontal axis and one up the vertical axis on the left. To help you space out your columns, please use every second grid line as you go across the bottom. So I'm going to skip a space and I'm going to my first line here, which is going to be blue. Skip a space and then go to orange. Skip a space, go to purple, then pink, then green, and finally, and finally red. Remember to label the axes. So this is people's favorite color. So we're going to put color down here. The vertical axis is the number of people that chose it. So this one's what we call our frequency. Oh, let me spell that properly. Quency. And we had 12 people choose blue. So I think there's 12 spaces there. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We even had plenty of spaces to spare. Okay, now the column graph is vertical columns that we're going to be drawing. You need to have a gap between the columns, and please make sure that you are using a ruler to draw these columns. No freehand, they need to be perfectly straight lines. So for the first one, our color of blue, what you want to do is be half of a grid line in front of the blue label. So see, you can see my blue is here, and I'm half a space in front of it. And I'm going to draw a column that goes all the way up to the 12. Then I'm going to move my ruler to half a space past the blue and do the same thing. That is my first column, which I'm going to colour it in. There's my 12 people who chose blue. Next I go to orange, and there was one person who chose orange, so we go half a space in front of orange, and we just do a little tiny column, half a space in front and half a space behind. Colour it in. There's my one person who likes orange. You still have to do it with me, yes, please. I still want you to do them. Yeah, you can go ahead, but if I come around and see that you're not doing them properly, I will ask you to do it again. The purple one, there is 3 people. So draw column 3 high and half a space past 3 and colour it in. This is called a column graph, this one. This is, oh yes, yeah, we can call it favorite, 7R's favorite colors. I'll get back to the title, very good. Pink is 4. So half a space in front, half a space behind. And green was 6. And finally, red was 1. Okay, so we've got nice, beautiful ruled columns. We have gaps in between each of the columns. I have my labels evenly spaced across the bottom and a label here. I have these numbers nice and evenly spaced and a label there. And the one thing that I'm missing is my title, which we're going to put up the top, which is 7R's favorite color. All right, now we want to do that same information on our next graph. That's it, Ivy. Thank you. Sit down. Shh. No talking, just drawing, please. Our next graph is a bar graph. It is almost the same except that we're switching the horizontal and the vertical axes and the bars are going to go across horizontally. Everything else you kind of set up the same. So across the bottom is going to be my frequency. So rule these lines. So our frequency was 1, 2, all the way up to 12. Remember to label, we can call it F for frequency. Must be labeling your axes. Then on the vertical axis is going to be our colors. So we're using every second space for these. And we have our blue, our orange, our purple, our pink, our green, and red. And label that with a title on the side here, which is the color that was chosen. While we're at it, let's put our title in. 7R's favorite fave color. Okay, so we're turning our ruler so that it's horizontal. We're going to start half a space below blue, and we're going to go out 12 spaces. Then move it half a space above the blue and go out 12 as well, so that you have your first bar. Then go through and do that for all of the other colors. So always half a space below and half a space above so that you have that nice little gap in between each of your bars. Please be writing this down. Come on, Luke. Yep, so 3 for purple, 4 for pink, 6 for green.
After we do this, what do we have to translate in the book?
The lesson, I think it's lesson 5 in there.
Do we have to do this in the post?
Should be able to get it done in class, I'm hoping. Oh, sorry, it's meant to be 6. I need to make that longer. And red. If you think you are finished well ahead of me, can you please put your hand up and either show myself or Mrs. Pengoli? Because I want to make sure that your graphs are done properly and ruled. If you have done all 8 of those graphs already, I would be very surprised and I would think that you've probably been a little bit too messy. Please make sure you're doing these properly. So I'm going quite quickly and I've only just finished the second graph. Just take that so you can check that. All right, ready for the next graph? Okay, the next one is a line graph, which you will label your axes the same as the column graph. You will have the colors across the bottom and the frequency up the side. So we're going to write these down a lot today. So we've got blue, orange, purple, pink, green, and red. This is the color. Have to label that. On the vertical one, we have the frequency, so F for frequency. And we're counting up to 12. Don't forget the title. 7R's favorite color.
What was
Yep, pink, green, red. Okay, the line graph is a dot. You draw a dot for every bit of data. So blue, we're going to put a dot at 12. Orange, we put a dot at 1. Purple, a dot at 3. Pink, a dot at 4. Green, a dot at 6. And red, a dot at 1. And then you draw a line connecting each one of those. Mrs. Pangolin, could you just check Alfie? I think you have you done your graphs, Alfie? Well, so you have to connect. So go from blue as you go across. You don't come backwards with your line. It goes. Yep. So blue, then orange, then purple, then pink, then to our green, and then to our red. And that is a line graph. You drawing one? Yes? Okay. Use your ruler. They need to be straight lines. How are we doing? Are we keeping up or am I going too fast? Siggy? We need to go the whole through the theory booklet first, and then when we finish the theory one, then we're going to go to the workbook booklet. So we're going to get all the way through to the divided bar graph. Nope, divided bar graph. Okay, are we ready? We did rectangles when we were doing chocolates. Did you have with my chocolates? It was my art skills. I'm not an artist, so yeah, we could do circles. All right, are we ready for the pictogram? The pictogram, you're going to have your colors across the bottom. So you're going to have to rule this yourself. There's no grid to use. Rule a line and measure, I would suggest every 2 centimeters. It doesn't have to be, but you want nice even spaces. So every 2 centimeters, I'm going to put a little mark. They should be evenly spaced. Okay, that's why you've got to measure them every 2 centimeters. Then on the vertical axis, we're going to draw a line there. But there's no markings or labels on that one. Our colors go across the bottom. Blue, orange, purple, pink, green, and red. Now, a pictogram is called a pictogram is because you're meant to use a picture to represent each person's choice. So when we did chocolate bars earlier in this topic, we did little rectangles because that was as good as I can draw a chocolate bar. And then I think we did Skittles where I did circles because Skittles are circles. So a pictogram, what do you reckon for colour? Do you want to do a square or a circle again? Or you could do like a little colour squiggle, like a little, the colour squiggle? If you had colours, it would look really good. I might do mine in colours. So you need to do a key over here. So I'm going to say a squiggle is going to be equal to 1 person. That means each person is going to get their own little colour squiggle and try to keep them evenly spaced as you go up. What you can do is you can use your ruler and you could do a little squiggle every ½ centimetre as you go up. So 1, actually it won't work for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, am I going to fit it? 10, 11, and 12. Good. So remember, 7R's favorite color. Always, always, always put a title. Now, because I have colors, I'm going to change color and change my thing to orange. And I need to do one little orange squiggle in line with my blue one. Then I'm going to change to purple. And I need 3 purple squiggles. See how these are in line? 1, 2, 3. These ones are in line with each other. Pink. I need 4. Okay, green, I need 6. And finally, my 1 red. There you go. Got my little pictures in there, and I've even color coordinated it. I should have down here on my bottom axis that this is the color. Label that axis. Okay, next one is your dot plot. There is not much difference between a dot plot and a pictogram, except that you must use a dot for each of your people. You don't have a line for this vertical axis. You just have the bottom one. You just have one horizontal line down the bottom. So down here, my 1 horizontal line with my 2 centimeter spaces. Don't have a big space there, and then my next one is super close. Okay, these should be all measured and evenly spread apart. Okay, so write the colors down. Blue, orange. What's the matter, Ziggy? Green and red. Okay, so a dot, again, you've got to keep them even as you go up. They've got to all be in line and evenly spaced. So blue, 12. So you could do each one of those dots half a centimetre apart, and then they're all going to be nicely spaced. Then move on to orange, 1 dot for orange. If you don't know how to do this, you should be listening, but no one should be talking. Purple, we want 3. Pink is 4. Green is 6. And red, just the 1. Shh. No talking, thank you. The next spot is here. 7R's favorite color. Title, title, title. Okay, the last 2 I think are always the most challenging ones because you've got to calculate things before you can draw them. So, next to your circle for the sector graph, we're going to need to do some working. We're going to have to calculate blue, orange, purple. These are our colors again. Pink, green, and red. The first thing you need to do is add up all of the numbers. We need to count up all the people that we've surveyed. So I had 12 people on blue, 1 person liked orange, 3 people for purple, 4 for pink, 6 for green, and 1 for red. So there's 27 people in the room today. So what you want to do is make a fraction of the people who like blue. There was 12 out of the 27 people who liked blue. You need to times that by, can anyone remember what I times by? 360, excellent. And it's the same for the divided bar graph. You always start with the fraction and you times it by the length of your bar in that case, but it still starts with the fraction. But because there's 360 degrees around that circle, we're going to be timesing by 360 every time you do a sector graph. And each one of the rest of them, orange for example, it was one person out of 27 times the 360. Purple was 3 out of 27 times the 360. Pink. And you need to get your calculator and you need to type each one of these things in to find the angle. Now there is no point, I'm guessing these aren't going to be very nice numbers because 27 is not a very nice denominator to be dividing out here. So we're not going to want decimal places in our angles. It's pretty hard to even measure to the nearest degree for some of these things. So we just want to round to the nearest whole number. So on the calculator for blue, we're typing in 12 over, oh, let me just fix my calculator up. Let me try that again. 12 over 27, and I'm timesing that by 360. Oh, that one did come out nice. Look at that. 160 degrees. Perfect one. Okay, then go through and do the rest. So I don't have to retype it. You just need to change that top number to be a 1. Oh, that one's not quite so nice. So 13.3 repeater. I'm not going to do the 0.3. What am I going to round that to? Yes, Ivy. Nope, not even. I don't want any points. I just want the nearest whole number. Just 13, correct. So just the 13. Since there's another one this same, let's not have that one again. Let's put that one in as well. That one down there is going to be 13 as well. Let's go to purple and change the number to a 3 on the top. And so that's 40 degrees. Change it to a 4. Oh, press the SD button. So that's 53. And last one, the 6 on the top. And that's exactly 80 degrees. Now I have rounded a couple of those numbers, so it may not be perfect, but what should all these angles add up to? 360. Let's see how close we are. I'm going to guess it's 359, is it? 359, it's always one less. All right, 160, 13, 40, 53, 80, and 13. And there it is, my 159. I knew it was going to happen because I'd rounded 2 of them down. But that's okay, that's close enough. Okay, now for the drawing of the graph. First of all, let's put our title on here. 7R's favourite colour. Okay, now as best as you can, you need to try and draw a dot for the centre of the circle. Okay, then use your ruler to draw a line from the centre to the edge. Okay, now this part, unfortunately I can't do on my screen anymore. I have to show you my protractor up here. So we need to give out the protractors. I gave out the protractors, didn't I? Everyone's got one? Good. All right. So blue is 160. We put our protractor on, and remember, you need to be super accurate. Graphs are about being accurate. You can't be more than 1 or 2 degrees out of the whole thing. So please be very, very careful. Line your protractor up. Make sure that bottom arm is lined up perfectly. Find the 0 and come around to 160 degrees. So that's going to be there. Put a mark. Now, if your mark is outside your circle, because this is much bigger up here on my screen, you're going to connect with your ruler or the bottom of your protractor, and you're going to draw a line from the centre to your mark but stop at the edge of your circle. You don't have to draw them, even if your dot's out here somewhere, you don't have to connect it way out there. Just draw to the edge of the circle. Label what you've got there. So this is the blue, the people who like blue, and that was 160 degrees that I measured in there. And now you're going to move your protractor around and do all the other angles. So my next one is 13 degrees. That's going to be a little one. Rotate your protractor to line up against that new arm that I've made. Find the 13, put a little mark, and draw a line very neatly, going through your mark to the edge of the circle. Label that orange and 13 degrees at the center. Next one is purple, 40 degrees. Find the 0, round to 40. At the beginning of the lesson, I asked people who needed rulers, and I handed them out.
Use protractor.
Thank you. Okay, next is pink, which is 53 degrees. Green is 80 degrees. And the last little angle should that I haven't had to measure a little line on there, but I should measure at the end to make sure that my last one fits perfectly. This should be 13 degrees. Oh, if I'm honest, mine's probably about 14 or 15. Mine's a little bit over, but it's pretty close. So I put my 13 degrees in there, and I call that red. Now make sure you have a look at that, because I'm going to have to erase that before we can do the next graph. There should be no extra part left over that is not labelled. It should all fit perfectly in that circle. Caden. 19. So that means you've probably been a little bit under with some of your other angles. Which means probably if I was marking that, you'd probably lose a bit of marks for not being quite accurate enough. 1 or 2 degrees, that's all you get. Okay. Everyone done with this? I'm about to erase it. Okay, no one's objecting. Here it goes. You have it good? Okay. Last graph is the divided bar graph. That's all right. This wasn't yesterday. So the divided bar graph, we're still going to start with each colour. So our colours were blue, orange, purple, pink, green, and red. Now, as I said when I was doing the sector graph, you still need to start with the same fraction. So my fraction for blue was 12 out of 27 people who chose blue. But now, instead of timesing by 360 for my sector graph, I'm going to times by the length of my bar, and you can actually choose the length of the bar that you want. But in class, I was suggesting that you always use 10 centimetres because 10 centimetres is a nice easy length to draw, and it usually splits up quite nicely. So I'm going to times all of mine by 10 because I'm going to draw a 10 centimetre bar. So orange is going to be 1 out of 27 times 10. Hopefully, how much time? Oh, we're going to run out of time. We'll see how we go. Okay, so get your calculators out and quickly, Luke, this is you too, Ivy as well, calculate these answers. So 12 over 27 and you times by 10. Now, what do you think is a good way to round these numbers? I don't want to round to just 4. 1 decimal place is really good because we can do the millimeters on our ruler is the 1 decimal place, right? So you can do 1 decimal places pretty easily. So we're going to do 4.4. Not just now. We need to quickly finish this. Unless you're done, are you finished? Can I see? Do the next one. Bring it up here, please. So 0.4. This is not what you're meant to be doing. How come that's what's the theory book that?
Oh, that's going from a different day. Wait, go.
We're meant to be doing favourite colour. We're meant to be doing these ones.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
But they're not the same numbers. And you haven't done any calculations or measurements. You know,
Besides from the second one, that was a bit tricky.
all these. Have you measured those? Because where's your calculations?
Yeah, I measured those.
Where's your calculations?
Oh, there was my calculator.
Can you go to the top of this? All right, keep going. We're running out of time. I was very clear at the beginning of the lesson, guys. You need to do this properly and accurately. Rulers, always. 1.1. Okay, so because I have times each of those fractions by 10, that means that you need to very carefully measure a 10 centimeter bar. The height of the bar is not critical, but don't make it too narrow. So you probably want at least 2 centimeters for the height so that you have enough space to write your labels in there. Okay, so it should be perfectly measured. I'm still seeing diagrams that aren't ruled and that have slopey lines. They need to be vertical. Okay, so let's go with our blue. Blue, up here, I calculated needed to be 4.4, Lachlan, 4.4 centimeters. So use your ruler. You start at the beginning of your rectangle and you measure 1, 2, 3, 4.4 for mine is here. If it doesn't work out well, you haven't been accurate enough because it should. You've made an error then and you need to fix it. If it's not working out, you need to do it more accurately. Oh, 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters is fine. That's okay. Okay, so this is blue. Label it blue and also underneath, please write the 4.4 centimeters that you have measured. Then go on to orange and measure orange, which has to be 0.4. That's just a little tiny piece, about that big.